This show is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find the other great shows on the network, head over to the deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Bev's Video Kingdom is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
Bev's Video Kingdom is brought to you by Easy Cheese. Hey there, you with a triple baconator in your hand. What the hell are you doing? You eating that greasy monstrosity thinking you're in flavor country when you haven't even approached shit sandwich land yet? Look down next to you, reach in between those couch cushions and see what you find. Yes, sir, that there is a can of Easy Cheese. And you can guarantee that it's going to make that flavorless meat snack into a veritable orgy of taste right in the middle of your pie hole. Just pop the lid, push the nozzle, and a thick rope of oozy gold will spill out onto whatever you desire. Splooge it onto burgers, nuggets, salmon fillets, crackers, pancakes, your wife's titties. Wherever it goes, you know it's bringing cheesy deliciousness straight out of a room temperature can. So if you're looking for the perfect Christmas gift for your loved ones or terrific stocking stuffers for your kids, grab a shit ton of cans of Easy Cheese and give everyone the best goddamn cheddar flavored load in the mouth anyone could ever ask for.
Your wife's titties.
Easy Cheese makes good
Was
snack.
that the end of it? I thought we were just laughing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Dude, you said ropes at one point. That fucking made me laugh. Holy shit.
You know, a couple, what is it? A nice thick rope of oozy gold.
Rope of oozy gold.
I wanna be at Beverly's, bringing me home with my movies, just to blind by, no reason why. I love this scene. It's Scott, Zach, and Brad, your favorite podcast. Let's start this thing.
Ho, 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 motherfuckers. Welcome to BVK, Bev's Video Kingdom. Thank you for stopping by this holiday season. And what time of the year is it, Brad?
Do we have anything that would make it?
Is there any
Seem
sounds on the board? Brad's looking at the board. He can't press the button because he has pressed another button. All right, we're having technical difficulties on the fucking sound. Anyways.
As soon as that, oh, wait. Oh, dude, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. I was not paying attention. I'm looking outside though right now. And
Oh, look outside right now. Oh, shit.
Is that
Santa?
It's Scotchy Claus.
Santa.
Santa Claus's older uncle.
Santa Claus's creepy alcoholic uncle.
Guys, it's just me, Scotchy Claus. I bring alcohol and wonder.
And cats.
All your Christmas needs fulfilled.
Oh, we're
Scotchy
here.
Claus.
We are in the fucking Bosco Jenkins Cantina and showroom. I'm just looking around at all the fucking festive awesomeness that Scott's got going on in here. We're just feeling the love, feeling festive. Brad, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. I'm getting fired up. We're getting very much close to Christmas. Any of you all that are in the local area, I just want to give a shout out to Atlas Court in Oakdale, California. If you've never been to Atlas Court and you've got children, there is a winter wonderland of magical lights awaiting you. And I'm just going to say, it is. You're going to be thinking like, it can't be that worth it. Like we've seen a lot of Christmas lights around. Trust me, goddammit, it's a whole entire court, very long, lengthy court that is filled with magical lights and music-themed greatness. And you put it on your radio station and it plays the music. It's all playing along.
Wow, that's legit.
I'm going to say it's at least 12 houses that are all combined together.
12 whole houses?
Interesting, dude.
And you circle through the court too. So it's like you go in and it's just a perfect little circle. So traffic getting in is kind of a little bit shitty, but if you go like at the right time, weekdays especially, you can catch it and you'll cruise through pretty quickly. And you'll probably want to do a couple laps because there's a lot to see.
That's very region specific. So if you're in the area, come check out Atlas Court in Oakdale, California.
You know what? We've got a lot of local listeners, so I'm just letting them know, because if you have not been there, it is worth your drive.
I was hoping that you lived on Atlas Court and you were just shouting out your own house and you were going to be like, come on by, anybody that wants to come see.
Well, if you're going out to Atlas Court, you also can stop by Last Call Brewing.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
and
that's
grab a
true.
beer at the same
That's
time.
true.
If you've never been to Last Call Brewing,
Go see Walter and Jake and the crew over there at Last Call. Get yourself a beer. Get yourself like 6 beers. That's the way to do it. Just make sure you have a sponsible horse to ride home on.
yeah, the Last Call 6 beer minimum.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Speaking of speaking of horses, Scotty.
Why are you looking at me?
That was the pot of the month last month. No more horses.
Scotty, what's up on the network?
So we are part of the Deluxe Edition Network. There's a lot of great shows. And this month, the pod of the month is the 10-cent beer Knight. As we mentioned on a previous episode, it's spelled with a K. So it's the 10-cent beer Knight. Ray, the podcaster, super fun dude. He's also on
The Deluxe Edition podcast.
So, but the 10-cent beer Knight is just him. And it's a lot of little pods. Sometimes he'll do like 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever, just kind of rambling about stuff. He does a lot of like entertainment news, and I love it. It's a really fun, cool little podcast. So definitely check out 10-cent beer Knight.
And also know that all the cool kids are calling the Deluxe Edition Network the network.
The network because of us.
Yeah. That's what's going around.
You're welcome, Casey.
Trending.
We rebranded it. The network.
So we were trying to figure out what Christmas movies we wanted to do. Yeah, because it's Christmas.
God damn it.
God, dude.
I mean, every time those bells go, my Yule log just goes straight up.
6 to midnight. I was gonna say that's actually just Scott running through here with bells tied to his beard. That's not actually a prerequisite.
I'm hearing some of the lower like tones as well, so there might be some besides his beard.
Some testy bells.
Testy bells, yeah. He majored in testy bells in college.
What instrument did you play? Testy bells.
Testy bells.
Okay, so which by the way, my God, I got to give a shout out to my son Jackson. We went to the 5th grade. Fucking.
Let's just stop you right there. You transitioned from testy bells to your son.
Jackson.
I was just thinking about
Musical instruments.
and
Okay.
we just went to the 5th grade winter concert at my kid's school, and God, they just absolutely killed it. Bunch of just fucking amazing musicians. They got all 3 of the notes that they know. They fucking killed every single one of them.
There you go.
It was really good.
Did they play the scale? The da 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 da.
No, you did too many notes. You did too many notes. It was
Way too many notes.
yeah. Anyways, so we were trying to figure out a movie to pick, and I threw out into the text thread, I said, hey guys, have you guys seen 4 Christmases? And I think Brad has seen it before.
No.
Brad had never seen it.
No.
Okay.
My first viewing was last night.
And so I watched it last night too. I've seen it. I had seen it not this Christmas, but the Christmas before. Nate actually brought it up to me and was like, oh, have you seen 4 Christmases? And I was like, no. And we watched it at a cabin, and it was fucking great. Everybody really liked it. I dig this movie a ton. Scotty, had you seen it before?
I caught the last maybe 30 minutes of it in a hotel room.
Oh, which is kind of a dog shit part of it, right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So no, there's definitely some funny parts that we saw, because
Okay.
I remember thinking, oh shit, this movie's fucking funny.
Yeah,
I need
yeah.
to see the rest of it. So, so I haven't seen the whole thing. I did watch the whole thing recently though.
So we're talking 4 Christmases here.
Hold on. I got a question. So this cabin experience of watching it, how many edibles were consumed, or how many vapes were vaping? What was going on prior to watching this movie?
6 vapes of vaping.
I was just about to say. I don't know about that because I don't do any of that stuff, Brad. But there was definitely people.
I'm just saying that there was
vibing.
people around there that was there probably
We were
a
vibing.
vibe. Okay, there was a vibe
vibing.
going on.
It was funny, dude. I mean, it was actually like one of those things where it was like 10 a.m. and there was nothing to do because it was snowing and we were just kind of in the cabin and we were like, we got to do something. And so we decided to watch this movie and we fucking laughed our asses off. It was really, really funny. So I dig this movie. So check it out. So 2000, what did we say? 2008?
2008.
2008, PG-13. Listen to this cast. Reese Witherspoon, Vince Vaughn, Robert Duvall, Sissy Spacek, Jon Voight, Jon Favreau, Dwight Yoakam, Tim McGraw, Kristen Chenoweth, Katie Mixon. I mean, dude, and then it goes.
Don't you dare leave Mary Steenburgen.
100%. I was about to get mad.
Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped over Mary Steenburgen. You know what I mean? So, like, dude, and not only that, I thought that she was Susan Sarandon until I just saw that it was Mary Steenburgen. Is that terrible or what? I was like, I thought Susan Sarandon was in this movie, but it's actually
they
Mary
only
Steenburgen.
hired women with S's in their names.
But man, I
Sally
mean,
Struthers also played a small
all the way
role
down
as
to
well.
freaking Kevin from The Office, dude, and
she
freaking
dead?
Cedric Yarborough, and
Dead or on cameo.
dude, Dead or on Cameo. That's a throwback to some old school episodes.
Oh, man.
So, anyways, we got director Seth Gordon. Never fucking heard of him. No idea if he's any good. What are you looking up, Brad? Are we looking up
Sally
who's
Struthers
dead?
is alive as fuck because Scotch gave me a look like, is she dead?
No, I didn't know she was in the movie. That was the look. I was like, she was in this? Sally Struthers.
Oh my god,
She is
you
not
missed, you
in
missed
this,
my
dude.
joke. I said they only hired women with S's in their names.
It was a Sissy Spacek joke.
and
Susan
then he thought
Sarandon.
Susan Sarandon was on there. I said Sally Struthers.
Guys, stop essing. It's hissing my
Reese Witherspoon has a lot of
S
S's.
the fuck out of you, man.
Oh, shit.
So our dude Seth Gordon directed this movie. I don't know much about Seth Gordon. We'll have to look into that in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll
but
talk to him.
this is a fucking fun movie in my opinion. I'm gonna throw it to you guys for your rapid reactions. But my first reaction to this movie was Vince Vaughn once again is just so goddamn funny. He can't do any wrong. Reese Witherspoon is beautiful, is funny, is kind of there in this movie. I don't think she carries much, in my opinion. I think Vince Vaughn puts this whole movie on his back and just kind of fucking starts running. And even though it's that weird, awkward run that he does in
Rudy.
fucking Rudy, he still kills it. The fucking supporting cast is just amazing. Jon Favreau is just absolutely just killing it. And I want to know what you guys thought. Brad had never seen this movie before. What are we thinking, Brad?
I'm so glad you brought up Vince Vaughn because I hadn't put this together yet. This movie for me is Vince Vaughn running that ball in Rudy.
Why?
Because I do like Vince Vaughn a whole lot, but when I see that scene, I get so angry. I'm like, what? I like you, Vince Vaughn, but you don't belong in this movie. It's just shit. Like the fact that you look like nothing like a running back, it's just embarrassing. And that makes me sad.
There's no 6'5" running backs that you know of?
Not built like he is.
There's no 6'5" running back.
And you can't run with the ball like on your chest and like you're like, don't hit me. Like that's the way he runs. And it's so embarrassing. So this movie for me, I was just like, you guys have pumped it up, and this is I guess that's the problem. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing: I was caught between this weird little.
I can't believe you're going to go where I think you're going to go.
Oh no,
now.
hold on! I was caught between this whole thing of my wife has seen this before. She watches every fucking Christmas movie. She's probably watched 17 different Netflix and all these stupid Christmas movies that come out. If it's come out, she's already watched it. She said, "You're going to hate this movie."
Really?
And you guys have talked about like the Jon Favreau as like the MMA dude. I'm like, oh, I like MMA. Like I'm into UFC and shit. And I was thinking, okay, but I like Vince Vaughn a lot. Like I'm looking at this cast. I'm like, oh, dude, Robert Duvall is my boy. Like I love all of this. And she's like, no, you're gonna hate this movie. I was like, but the guys are talking about it. Like they say it's really funny and it's like it's got this good. And I was like, my wife knows me very well.
So what the fuck do you not like about it? I can't wait.
Okay, so some of it's going to come out in a little bit a category a little bit later. Shaq Night Body Bag, we're going to have some there, but I don't like movies where everything feels very contrived, where it feels like this movie is called a Christmas movie. I'm going to step on all my body bag. I'm not going to step on my body bag. I'm stepping on one of my shags, and I got it. All I can say is that I did not enjoy it. It was my
Jesus
I know. I had to get into a posture. You can't see it on the audio, but I just got into like kind of like a pose. You're like,
Brad's hunching right now.
I didn't enjoy it. I did not like. It was one of those movies where I'm like, got through and I was like, God, that was a fucking waste of time. Like even liking Vince Vaughn and appreciative of Vince Vaughn, it did nothing for me. I was like, okay, this isn't a fun Christmas movie. There's nothing in this movie that makes me say like, I'm gonna watch this Christmas again. There's nothing about like the characters, aside from like being a little goofy here and there. They're all caricatures. They're not characters. They're caricatures. And it just, I looked at what the writers have done, and I was looking at like their other things that they've written. One guy had something to do with The Hangover, but I was like, okay, The Hangover was an R-rated, like just fucking bust your balls comedy. This is like, it's pulling punches, and it's just got a lot of just, I don't know, the humor did nothing for me. Like, I don't know. Like I was trying to think of like, if I was 10 years old, if I watched this movie, would I like laugh? Like, oh, look at the baby just spit up on him and stuff like this?
Because it'd be over your head if you were 10 years old. I think maybe you didn't get it.
Oh.
I'm confused right now.
You didn't get it.
Oh, I mean,
Bro.
do we want to say like, oh, the big like meaningful moment where they come back together is that they go apart for like 5 minutes?
That's what I just told Scott. He said he watched the last 30 minutes. And I said, well, that's kind of the dog shit part of the movie. Like, I'm not a huge fan of that part of it.
You know what? Another movie that I really like that the second half isn't great is Wedding Crashers. Wedding Crashers is 10 times 10 the movie of this one. Like,
I agree
the
that
second half of Wedding Crashers pretty much sucks, but it's just hitting home runs constantly.
Right.
Wedding Crashers is a funnier movie for sure.
For sure.
But okay, Scott, what do you think?
Okay.
Brad's done.
Vince Vaughn was on an island in this movie.
He was carrying
and
the
he
whole
was
fucking movie.
drowning.
Dude, I don't think so. I think Favreau. Anyways, what do you got?
Okay, so I'm somewhere in the middle between the two of you. Okay. I think it started out super great, had a lot of promise. I really loved the whole intro, the beginning of
The first scene is one of the greatest
so
opening
great.
scenes.
It's awesome. Really, really awesome. And then there was some amazing funny parts scattered throughout this movie, filled with a bunch of dog shit. So I think what Brad was like, so the things that stuck out to me too was certain things that could have been great were just overdone and just not done well enough. And again, I have some body bags and stuff that I don't want to step on it exactly either, but I didn't feel as bad as Brad did at the end. I was like, that was nice. I laughed a lot. The funny parts were fucking funny. And Vince Vaughn, like the whole like, for example, the whole church scene was like, that was such a stupid, I mean, of course.
Was it contrived?
It was super contrived. Yeah. Nobody's going to volunteer. Like, dude, there'd be fucking 30 people wanting to be fucking Mary and Joseph in this play thing.
100%. But that doesn't set up the movie.
But, and I'm sitting,
and who the fuck says now we're gonna give you a script? Like I thought, you're just gonna stand there and he's gonna tell the story and like they just have to like stand there.
Right.
The fact that you have lines and they're gonna put you in costumes and shit.
The way Vince Vaughn acts on stage is the funniest fucking
and that's
shit
the
I've
thing.
ever seen.
And that's the thing. I went from literally sitting there going, oh my God, this is
Unfit woman.
This is so dumb.
Swaddle that baby. It's so
Exactly.
It's like a fine chef bringing you like, and he's like got the dog shit on the plate. And he's just like, I'm a fine chef. Look at this. You're gonna take a bite of this because I am bringing it to you. You're gonna take a bite and you're gonna enjoy it.
Vince Vaughn saved that whole scene, and I ended up loving that scene. Glory to God.
Yeah,
Like,
the way
and
he delivers it is so funny.
Apparently, she's better at making babies than swaddling them. No,
Here's exactly, and then I'll tell you right now why I reacted badly to that scene. If there's like uncomfortable laughter in the crowd, and they're just like, oh wow, like they're like, this is awkward, this is weird, and like then it's like, okay, that's funny to me because like he's like going off, and they're just like, okay,
he won the crowd.
Like the fact that they're like doing hallelujahs and shit, like nobody wants the fucking story of Mary and Joseph like being fucked up in your church.
That's true.
You haven't been to a lot of church, have you?
You think they're gonna be like applauding?
A lot. Well, I'm gonna get canceled, but no, I don't. I think that's exactly how it would go. I think that's exactly fucking how it would go.
Look, all I know is just overall, I did enjoy a lot of parts of this movie. Is it in my like rotation of holiday films? Probably not.
So I think that's the like, there's got to be a little bit of a setup for it. You have to be like, this is a really funny movie, but you can't say that. You've got to say, this is a really funny Christmas movie to me, because it's a Christmas movie. There's no denying it's a Christmas movie. It takes place on Christmas. Yep. Correct.
Let me change the movie and maybe make it a little better. And this has nothing to do with my reshelf or any alternate endings or anything. If they're like, okay, I think I want to like propose to you or something where they have to go tell each of the family members, like we want to tell them in person something about their lives. Maybe it has nothing to do with kids. I know the whole point is like they're not going to have kids. They're not going to get married. That's the whole thing. There's something they have to tell each of the parents. So they're going to go to their houses and they're like, gather the family together. We got something to say. Maybe something like that. Like,
I guess I just have a hard time.
The fact that they like forced it to be like, we're going to go to each family's Christmas. I've done 3 Thanksgivings and I think maybe 3 Christmases in a row. One, after doing 3, we were like, we will never fucking do that again. Like it was like, this is not going to happen again. Not to mention the food. Like you eat so much food going between 3 houses. Like everybody's like, oh, you got to have the food. You got to have the food. And you're like, fuck, I can't eat anymore. This is stupid. And the fact that like nobody's drinking enough, and then the fact that they went to 4, yet they did so much stuff at like each house. There's not enough hours in the day. Considering they start off at the airport.
They started at the airport, yeah, and they had to be one. They went to his dad's. Which one was at noon? Was it the first one or the second one?
They went to Duvall's first.
Right, but I think the one she committed to at noon was maybe even the second one. So like they're at the airport first thing, I guess.
And they got up on the house and they're putting satellites up like way after like.
I guess my struggle with your opinion, Brad, is
realism
from
in
a man
comedy
that
movie.
Loves fucking Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and fucking Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. You're just picking the plot apart of this movie. That's weird to me.
Hey,
that's a great point.
As I said on the last pod, man, I make the logical illogical. Actually, I said we all do, but specifically that was talking about myself.
Speaking of the last pod, we did Gremlins, and I think they had a runtime of like an hour 46, if I recall. This one had a runtime of an hour 28.
Yeah,
it felt like 2.5 hours.
So
God
I disagree.
damn, I was just gonna say the same thing. I was like, I was surprised when I hit pause. Like I was like, I think this is almost over, and there's like 20 minutes left. I'm like, holy fuck, I was there 20 minutes still. And it was only a 90-minute movie.
I watched this last night. We didn't even start the movie until 9:30. And by the time the movie was over, I was like, what time is it? She's like, 11:15. I was like, fuck, I guess it's time
the
to go
whole
to bed.
evening left.
Yeah, exactly. I fucking love this movie. I think that the opening scene might be the funniest shit ever when Vince Vaughn goes in there and he is playing a character from North Dakota, but you don't know it.
Right.
And he's like telling her, and she lays into him, and you start to think like, I think it sets you off on the wrong foot, Brad, because you're like, all right, this is lame. Like, why is she saying this to him? She wouldn't act like that.
Let me tell you exactly what I thought. I was like, Vince Vaughn is not playing this character in this movie. Something is up. I was like,
You did think something was up?
I was like, something here is weird because he will not play this character for the entire movie. This is not what this movie's about.
Yeah, it didn't fool me at all.
Oh, it fooled me. When I first saw it, I was like, what is happening in this movie? Is this like how they meet? This is so lame. And then when I find out what happened, I was like, that's amazing.
The one thing
I appreciate it. Once the ruse was exposed, I was like, okay, so there was something that was up here. There's no way Vince Vaughn was playing that. I would have heard about this movie like, oh my God, Vince Vaughn plays this like super dorky guy and he's got a lot of range and stuff. I was like, no, Vince Vaughn's gonna be playing fucking Vince Vaughn in this movie. Well, they hired him when they said, hey, sign it. He's like, what part are you playing? I'm playing Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, we wrote a part for Vince.
I was actually glad that and I saw through it from the beginning, and I was glad because if that was her, like if she's such a bitch to him, like I was like, I don't like this character. I'm not going to root for her.
Exactly.
Once you found out they were like rich, snobby people, you're like, oh, I really like them now.
Well, they were.
Do you think they were snobby?
Kind of. They're going on vacations, ditching out on Christmas and going to Fiji and shit every year.
I don't think that
Lying
makes them
about
snobby.
like taking care of like
Inoculating babies.
I love that part. I love that part. It's a Scrooge story. You gotta have them be a little Scroogey in order to fucking have their redemption arc at the end of the movie.
my heart is cold and cynical.
There's so many funny fucking parts. There's so many funny parts. When Favreau comes, what do you think of Favreau's character and fucking Tim McGraw's character?
Oh, I'm super stoked about Favreau looking like he actually could be like a fighter. Like he's got that.
Fuck yeah, he looks like his
solid
character
looking.
from Friends.
He's got his whole chin looking like where he's got that jaw where he's like, I want to fuck you up. But then the fucking dude does a backflip WWE moonsault, and I'm like, why is he doing that when he's supposed to be a cage fighter? Like that's nothing.
Well,
that
they're
has nothing to do with it.
He said they fight in parking lots.
But the fact that the writers are like, oh, they're like, UFC and WWE guys, they're all the same. So like he'll just do a WWE move. It's like that pisses me off because it makes me think that these writers thought they were more clever than they were. And that's when I start getting angry at the movie because as soon as I feel like the writers are like, oh, this is what redneck people are like, I hate those people when they write these characters that seem like they're stereotypical, just absolute bullshit, except for the taboo.
So I was gonna say, to me, there's two Favreaus in this. There's the first meeting of Favreau where it's just ridiculous and over the top, and just the whole pinning him down, him like getting him in an arm bar and then humping his face. And
It's
then,
so funny.
and then dropping the fucking dollar I laughed fucking out loud.
That was
shit
good.
was great.
The second attack was absolute bullshit.
Was
though.
bullshit. And then but then of course you get the kids involved and it's like, Google me, bitch. That shit was funny too.
It's a good line, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it's like I feel like it's jumping on with like I'm all hopped up on Dr. Pepper. I'm a spider monkey or whatever. Like that
Right.
whole like it
Yeah,
seems
but
like,
this is 2008, bro. When did Ricky Bobby come out?
like 2006, 5.
I-
I'm looking it up.
Google
we'll
it.
Find out.
Google that shit.
But speaking of Tim McGraw, I didn't think he was good at all. His acting in the background was not good. He looked horrible, and I think Tim McGraw's actually done some good acting.
06.
06.
All right.
So
I'll give you that.
Tim McGraw in this, the whole fighting scenes and shit, I didn't buy for something about it. He just looked fake to me. I liked him in The Blind Side. I think he's a good actor.
I thought always when Tim McGraw was like an Indian outlaw, he was like super skinny and like I didn't realize he was all thickened up like that. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't know that was even Tim McGraw.
Yeah. No, so I think he did good. And I did like when Vince Vaughn fucked up the Santa for his little kid, he actually did like, he knows now, like that was good. That was good. So, but what I didn't love Favreau the first time, just 'cause it was so over the top and it's just so much. But god dang it, when he comes back at the next Christmas and he's doing the taboo with his wife, holy shit, that was great.
Before we even get there, though, how about when Vince Vaughn's when Vince Vaughn's giving the presents to the little kids, and the kid's like, Santa better bring me something good, and he's like, something tells me Santa's gonna bring something around $10. That shit.
There's plenty of Vince Vaughn lines that I'm sure he improvised and brought up on set. And so I think that's the thing is like, I feel like these writers realize that they don't have a great movie. So it's like, goddamn, we need Vince Vaughn to come in here and like spice this up a little bit. And I feel like it's just a dog shit movie. If this movie's without Vince Vaughn, it's a dog shit movie.
100%.
Absolute dog shit.
But it's great because Vince Vaughn's in it. He carries the entire movie the entire time.
I enjoyed Vince Vaughn for the most part. Like
When he's sitting with all the ladies on the couch and he's like, I feel like a Saudi prince. They're fucking feeding him food and shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There's so many lines that is just so funny to me.
when they break down the dance couples about getting married and like they're just going back and forth about why we're not married. This is why we're not married. And
that was one of my favorite scenes.
that's one of my favorite scenes. It's early, and so I was getting like hopes up, and then they start meeting the families, and I'm like, oh god, it's all just caricatures.
Yeah, the best part is during that dancing thing, right at the very, very end, the first couple that were asking him, hey, when's the date or whatever, and the guy's hugging on her. It's like, hey, congratulations, and she's just kind of like pulling away from him a little bit, and there's just like this look on her face like, yeah, I'm really second guessing my whole marriage because of Vince Vaughn and all the shit they said. It's super subtle. It's so great. Dude, honestly, there was the parts that hit like, and I just wish there was more, because the stuff in between, because like so I watched it on Sunday for the first time, all the way through. I enjoyed it. And at the end I was like, dude, that was good. And then I was rewatching it. Started last night, fell asleep, didn't finish it. And then I finished it again today, just because I wanted to get refreshed with it. And the parts that weren't funny, just really hard to get through.
I mean, that's romantic comedies, right? He even said like Wedding Crashers is one of the greatest comedies of the last 20 years. And there's 30-40 minutes in that movie that fucking drag badly. You know what I mean?
But the good is so good. And it's like I said, it's not just Vince Vaughn putting the team on his back and trying to like limp down the sidelines. And that just didn't work. So I will say this. First off, I didn't realize it took place in San Francisco. Maybe I missed something at the very beginning where they mentioned
they're literally driving across the Golden Gate Bridge and the fog comes in, and that's why they can't get on the plane.
Oh, no. But before that, like there's like a store, and it just happens to show like a little bear with like a Steve Young jersey. I was like, I thought it was like I thought it was like New York. I thought it was like Metropolitan. Like
you're like, this movie's bullshit.
No, I thought they were like random like yuppie couple in New York, because I just wasn't paying attention very much at the beginning. And then it was like there was a Steve Young jersey. I was like, why would that bear have a Steve Young jersey? Like if this is in New York. And then I realized in San Francisco, I was like, oh, okay, fuck, they're in San Francisco. That makes a whole lot of sense, because Steve Young's best quarterback of all time. Anyway, I will say
Steve Young,
the best Mormon quarterback of all time, is what you meant to say. That's what you meant to say.
I did not stutter. I said the best quarterback of all time.
Wow.
And then when Kristen Chenoweth first shows up and she's got the baby, I can't get up because my baby like is trying
she immediately gets up for Vaughn.
Immediately gets up, and then the baby's sitting there, and the baby's got its hand like across her cleavage. She moves the baby's hand to show off.
It's so funny.
That was great.
That shit was funny. I was like, okay, that's fucking funny. Like
how about the grandma? Her grandma there with the hitting on Vince Vaughn too. God, dude, it's so funny.
Yeah, the grandma saying like I want to pleasure him orally and with my hand.
Yeah, exactly.
That shit, no
my hand and mouth.
No fucking person says that ever. Especially
that's so funny.
Especially when they're trying to be religious and like she's now like a born again Christian or whatever the fuck she is. Like that shit does not happen in real life. And even in like supposed to be like kind of funny life, it doesn't happen. Like that just does not happen. Like Kitty Cat in Wedding Crashers. That behind the scenes, her talking like that happens.
What about the brother drawing a nude picture of you and bringing it into your bed at nighttime? That totally happens.
That
okay,
totally happens.
I just want to make sure.
That for sure happens. Grandma's saying
sure
I'm going to give my
happens.
husband hand jobs, unless they're like, oh, she's hella senile, like she's going through Alzheimer's and stuff like that. Like,
I mean, Brad, it sounds like your grandma's not horny enough, dude.
It's been a while since we had a grandma horny take.
If this movie brought us to that take, I'm happy. I take back everything I've said about the fact that we have 4 Christmases on this podcast, because
we need more horny grandmas. Come on.
More horny grandma jokes.
Speaking of horny grandmas, I found a picture today of Jennifer Coolidge at like age 21. Have you guys seen this shit? Dude.
Was she a smoke show?
I'm just going to show you.
She's in the commercial now. There's some commercials she's in right now. Like she's
Jennifer Coolidge?
Yeah, during the NFL, they've been showing some commercial where she's in it a bunch.
Have you guys watched the
I mean, she's freaking beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, I didn't realize
she's like perfect 80s hottie right there.
Yeah, exactly.
In a weird way, and maybe just that picture, she looks like Jennifer Connelly.
I do see that.
I see it.
Yeah.
I totally see it.
Straight up.
JC.
Interesting. Anyways, moving on.
That might be the most popular 2 JCs in the history of the world. Jennifer Coolidge and Jennifer Connelly.
Whoa.
Is there ever been a better JC?
No. Jesus Christ is pretty good.
Has there ever been a better JC?
Oh, this movie's got my head all fucked up. Sorry.
That's what Jennifer Coolidge died for your sins. All right. We're moving on.
They had never ghost of commercials.
Seth Gordon, our dude, we're going to go see him for Drinking with the Director.
Yeah, we'll talk about him. Let's do it.
Pull up a chair and grab yourself a drink. We'll hypothesize what directors think. Maybe sometimes get a guess. Makes us look good. Let's drink, laugh, and pretend we know what we're doing. Drinking with the Director, brought to you by Last Call Brewing.
Weehaw!
So if we're drinking with my dude Seth Gordon, Brad, what the fuck else has Seth Gordon done? I know you got that shit pulled up. What are we looking at here?
I can't drink first?
Oh, I guess we can talk about what we're drinking. What are we drinking, Brad?
You know what? Last week you were drinking it, and I brought it to you, so I was like, you know what? I'm a big fan of this Operation Nectaron. They've got this available at Last Call. You can get some beautiful 4-packs of cans. They just did I got to promote this one too. I'm not drinking it. If you like sours, I'm not a big sour drinker, but if you like sours, Last Call did a collab.
It's easy for you to say.
Last Call did a collaboration with Blooming Camp Ranch, and they make pies out there that are they're like notorious pies. They're like the best pies you can ever get. They took apple pies and put them into the mash for the Last Call.
So like they baked the pie and then threw the pie in there?
They put that pie in there and let it.
Did they let their cat eat a little bit of it?
No, they did not. There was no pie humping or anything like that. To my knowledge, I don't think Walter allows that kind of shenanigans at his brewery. But they made a apple pie sour that is straight up with actual apple pie in it. And it's my wife tried it. She said it's delicious. So if you like sours, they've got a beautiful sour for you. If you like pale ales, they've got the Nectaron, Operation Nectaron, single hopped pale ale with some Nectaron New Zealand hops. So delicious. A variety, 16 taps. You're gonna find a beer you like. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Every once in a while, Scotch Beck might be playing there on a Wednesday night. It happens.
Yeah.
It's great times. Get down there.
Sounds fucking awesome. It looks like Scotty's got a little Last Call over there too.
Yeah. Speaking of Last Call, it is cold weather, and it is what I like to call stout season.
There you go.
When it's cold, the only beer I like is good dark stouts and porters. And so I am drinking the Joe Cubano, which is my go-to. Pretty much every time I go to Last Call, I look up at the board and I'm like, what am I going to have? And my eye just always goes straight to Joe Cubano. And it's an Imperial Robust Porter. And it's dark, it's yummy, it's delicious, and it makes me happy.
And I'll say, and this is not saying this in a bad way. It's like, they call it Joe Cubano, and like the kind of that dark aftertaste, that roasted malt, it kind of has like almost a cigar taste at the end. It's no joke. Like maybe you would say that, oh, it's because it's full of Joe Cubano, it tastes like a cigar. No, there's a taste there, and it's got that little aftertaste, which dark beers have. So it's the roasted malts. It's very delicious.
So good. And then something else they released recently, which is really good, is the Golden Oaky.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a really, really good golden stout.
Coffee stout.
Yeah. So they got some great beers going right now.
And that was a collaboration with the Smoking Oaky, a former food truck that also roasts hazelnuts. And they had roasted hazelnuts that they roasted, added to the beer. So Last Call does all sorts of amazing things. They are the most collaborative brewery I've found. And in fact, you know what, folks? Coming soon, there may be a part 2. Everybody likes sequels. There might be a sequel soon of the BVK IPA. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
All right. So, 4 Christmases.
What are you drinking?
Are you drinking?
Asshole.
Oh. God damn it. I'm drinking fucking Peace Love Haze Hazy IPA from Dust Bowl Brewing in Turlock, California.
Oh, that big giant corporate brewery?
Yep. They're fucking big.
No, they are not big giant corporate. They are local and they're great.
They're big, bad, and delicious. So go check them out. All right.
If you're near Elk Grove, Monterey, or Turlock, you've got a Dust Bowl Brewing next to you. Go check them out.
Delicious. All right. Actually, one thing I will say about Dust Bowl Brewing, their fucking bacon cheeseburger off the chain. 4 Christmases, we're going to drink with the director, Seth Gordon. Mr. Seth Gordon, what other movies have you done, bro? I fucking have no clue. Brad's going to fill us in.
All right. For movies you've seen, it is going to be Horrible Bosses.
Okay.
Identity Thief.
Don't know what that is.
Is that Melissa McCarthy?
Yes.
Yes.
And Jason Bateman. No, not Jason Bateman. It's also from Meet the... We Are the... whatever the one where he's like
We're the Millers?
We're the Millers. What's the name? Jason Sudeikis.
I was gonna say.
Oh, Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. That's who it is. Real quick, I had to go on a little rant about Ted Lasso.
Oh,
Are you going to say how it was so good? Because if you say anything else, so you're out of the podcast.
Yeah.
No. This
Dangerous
was this was a group text that we talked about, and the World Cup I think has ended by now, I believe, and the World Cup, the United States soccer team qualified for the World Cup, and before they were about to leave, Ted Lasso, the owners of Ted Lasso, they decided to put billboards in all of the U.S. national men's team, each of their home cities. They put up a billboard basically saying, hey, it was some Coach Lasso advice,
Right.
basically promoting like them as a player and wishing them good luck on the national team. Awesome idea. Fucking cool as fuck. It's a cool advertisement for them, but it's also, hey, you know what? Promoting soccer.
Right.
And that's what Ted Lasso does. So it was a cool thing. I sent you guys a review. Remember this asshole that was like ripping it apart, calling it like,
that's right.
he's a soccer writer for ESPN. And he was like, oh, this is so contrived and bullshit and blah, 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 blah.
Sounds like Brad talking about Four Christmases. Yep.
100%, because Four Christmas is a piece of shit. But those billboards were all in good fun,
Right.
all trying to promote the game of soccer. And this soccer dude like took offense to it, like, oh, it's so awkward. I think he called it cringe.
He did call it cringe.
And I was like, what? How the fuck are you calling these funny billboards from a show that it just is all heart? And you're going to sit there and try to rip it as being cringe, or it's like, dude, anything that promotes U.S. national soccer is probably great, because I will say that they played in the quarterfinals or the 32 or 64, whatever it was. I didn't even realize it was on the day they lost. I was like, oh shit, they lost 3-1 in the Netherlands.
Right.
The problem is they do play like 9 a.m. on a Wednesday. That's might be the issue.
It was a weekend, and I think it was, I don't know what time it was, but whatever. It like, that's the whole point. It's like any promotion you can do that's positive. And if you connect it with Ted Lasso, which is a show a lot of people like, and maybe they're not big soccer fans. I'm not a big soccer fan. I loved the show.
Can I be 100% honest? I had no clue that the World Cup was even near happening until I saw that Ted Lasso sent billboards to all these guys. And I saw this article and I thought it was amazing. And I read a few of the billboards, which were
They were
amazing,
super clever,
super
and
funny
fun.
and clever. And I was like, oh, I guess the World Cup's happening soon. And then, yeah,
Yeah.
then I knew.
And some ESPN douche thinks
Yeah,
that was
shit
the
all
wrong
over it.
thing to do. So sorry, that was a very side rant.
Well, the world's full of douches, you know? And obviously they weren't using the Peltzer panty pet.
You forgot a P. You forgot a P. What's the fourth P?
Personal. Peltzer's personal panty pet. If you don't know what that is, listen to our last episode.
Yeah, last episode.
Anyway.
It's all Christmas this month, kind of.
Ish. What are we doing?
Except for this
What
movie.
movies did this motherfucker direct?
Besides the two I mentioned, he did. Okay, there is a show he did 2 episodes of, For All Mankind. I think that's on Apple TV, which seems like it got some pretty good notes. But he's got like 2 episodes here on some TV show, 1 episode here on some TV show. He did 7 episodes of The Goldbergs.
So he did Horrible Bosses, he did Four Christmases, and that's pretty much it, huh?
The thing that he's known for, at least the reason I knew who he was, and I was like, oh shit, that's what he did. Documentary called The King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Actually saw
About
that.
the Donkey Kong high scores. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later.
Love that
A
documentary.
little spoiler alert. But yeah, but it's a documentary. You don't have to do too much. You're just filming shit
Right.
and then putting it together as a story.
Guys that make documentaries hate you right now for saying that.
And I know. I said you have to put it together as a story. There is some definite things you have to do to make it work. But
Or you just pour your heart and soul into making a beautiful Christmas movie, and then you got guys like Brad saying it's fucking contrived.
I hope, I hope he's on a podcast later be like, this fucking guy in this podcast is trying to say that my movie's not Christmas enough and it's corny and it's contrived. What does he know
Didn't
about
you see
Christmas?
Vince Vaughn? So if we're going to talk to Seth Gordon,
Yeah.
about anything, I'm gonna ask him, how the fuck did they get all of these people in that movie? Like, it's a killer cast, and it just seems to go on forever, dude. I mean, you've even got the.
Did you know the budget for this movie?
So this was going straight into my question I had. It was
$80 million.
how in the hell did this movie cost $80 million?
Because you have all of these people, and they were not. No, this wasn't a favor where they're like, "Oh, I'll take like minimum or whatever." They're like, "I'm gonna be in this dog shit. Okay, you're paying me like my maximum. In fact, I'm probably adding like a couple extra zeros because this is bullshit." It's $80 million. Where the fuck did that money go besides just bringing in as many
Had to be talent
actors?
because there's nothing like big. Like there's nothing other. The bounce houses. I know they're kind of expensive these days, but other than that,
that satellite was probably pretty expensive, you
Right.
know, when he was falling off the house.
So I think what happened and what he would tell you is he was like, we watched Meet the Parents and we were like, this is a good
That works.
idea for a movie. Maybe we should do 4 sets of parents like they did in Meet the Fockers and all that shit. And we'll do it Christmas and it'll be like a niche thing and people will be into it.
Oh,
I
contrived and corny? Yeah.
I really think that's what they
think
think that's
exactly.
what they were going for because it had a very like Meet the Parents vibe to me. All the parents were famous actors and actresses. And I think that's kind of what they were going for. I still say that Vince Vaughn just talking and being Vince Vaughn is fucking. This movie made $164 million.
I laughed twice. I laughed first when I saw the budget. I was like, that's fucking bullshit. And then I laughed when I saw 164 million that it made. I was like, oh my God, this is even more funny.
Yeah.
I don't remember hearing about this movie when it came out.
Neither did I, and had no idea it was even a movie until 2 years ago.
And apparently it was a hit, big hit. Because
I mean,
Double
that's a
its
lot
money.
of money. I think it was right in a sweet spot of having a movie come out that was decently funny.
right.
This is the idea that, and maybe this isn't something that can happen nowadays. And I think there's like a lot of streaming services have tried it and then they're failing badly. Is that back in the day with the theaters when there was like not all the streaming shit, you could be like, fucking, we're going to pack this chock full of like brand name actors. People will go see it.
Yep.
And that's what they hedged their bets on. Because I bet there was a bunch of like executives watching this movie being like, holy fuck, we are going to lose our asses. $80 million on this piece of dog shit. And
I don't think so.
I think the bet was literally just Vince Vaughn because he's
hot as fuck
He's
then.
like 3 years removed from Wedding Crashers. Wedding
years.
Crashers was 2005, I think.
Oh, 5. Okay.
Yeah. So they're like, dude, let's throw all our money on our boy. He's got to carry this thing. And he did. He delivered $163 million, which is just insane to think about that because the Rotten Tomatoes score on this thing, the critics give it 25%.
That's just so crazy.
Wait a sec. I saw that. I mean, unless it was like stuff in the ballots that they had very good reviews coming out. Like when it first opened, like they had
Well, they
good
always do
reviews.
that. They always do that. They put the good ones first or whatever. But it ended up at 25. The audience score was only like 40 something, and so the audience didn't even like it that much either. And like IMDb score was like 5.7 out of 10.
When you check the comments on IMDb, it's like every other one is like a 1 or a 2. Like, how the fuck did this get made?
Right, but
That's crazy. I loved it. I for sure.
And
will
I
watch
did
it
this
next
all
year.
after I'd watch it. Like I never like go ahead of time and like what did the critics say? I would never do that shit. Fuck all the critics.
yeah,
I watched it and then I was like, people have to feel the way I do about this, right? And I went and I was like, oh, okay, kind of confirmed.
I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I thought it was really, really funny the whole way through. I just didn't even think about the plot or any of that stuff. I just listened to Vince Vaughn, just fucking the sweet tones of Vince Vaughn. So my last question and the last thing, I'll throw it out to you guys. What the fuck happened to Vince Vaughn? Like, is he doing anything? Did he he like outed himself as sort of like a right wing. He had some like right wing ideas at some point, and I think maybe sort of canceled himself a little bit.
was True Detective season 2 kind of
Maybe
beginning
that
of his
killed
downfall?
him. I don't know. I didn't hate it as much as everybody hated it. It's not
But a lot of people
good.
hated it.
I told
Yeah.
the story on the pod before that we were in Disneyland and a couple friends late night went and got on Pirates of the Caribbean and he was on it by himself looking slightly disheveled, like kind of weird. Like,
That's weird.
What is Vince Vaughn doing on
Pirates of the Caribbean by himself.
like at like 10:30 at night?
That's fucking weird.
Like I think he has kids.
I thought you were gonna say so your friends went on Pirate of the Caribbean and he was one of the pirates. Like that's the only gig you can get.
Just moving by himself. acting like a robot. No, but that's yeah. I just that seemed weird, and they're like, no, it's fucking Vince Vaughn. He's tall as fuck, and it was absolutely Vince Vaughn. So they didn't see kids around. Like maybe he was just like in the back row, and the kids were in the front, and like he was just trying to like hide out.
I guess it's just one of those things. Like, how many times can you play Vince Vaughn? You know what I mean? Like, how many different movies can you be Vince Vaughn in? Because he tried to be a little bit different in that True Detective season 2, like Scott's saying, and it got met with just fucking, he got destroyed.
In Wedding Crashers, when he's asked to do kind of the emotional parts at the end, he still gets to be kind of sarcastic about it. He's like, yeah, you're a crazy bitch, but I think I'm going to love you. Like, I think it's going to work. Like, he doesn't have to be like serious emotional. In this movie, he's supposed to kind of be serious emotional at the end.
Right.
He leaves her for like 5 minutes. He goes to his dad's house, and his dad's like, oh, yeah, you left her. Good job. And then he's like, I got to go back.
But he doesn't even really get like too emotional. Like, there's no scene where he like struggles with it. He just kind of follows his dad into the house and then shows back up.
That's my point, is that it's like, it's so like just, and I know comedies, they never do the best job of trying to like wrap it up in a bow. Why did they have to wrap it up in a bow? Like, why couldn't they just kept it zany towards the end? Like, I guess that's another part of my problem, is that it's like, it's trying to be goofy, crazy comedy. At the end, they feel like they had to go like the romantic comedy.
Well, that's because it's a Christmas movie. They got to have that.
Is it a romantic comedy or is it a Christmas movie?
It's both, but it's the Scrooge model where you've got to have the Scroogey, like blah, 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 I hate Christmas, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, oh, now at the end, I learned my lesson and I realized that family's important and yada, yada, yada.
And every woman will hand them a baby every time that they're around them, just for some odd reason. Here, hold my baby. Hold my baby. Hold my baby. Hold my baby. Did you guys notice that? Like,
that doesn't happen to you?
Throughout the whole movie, it's like everybody's just, you got to hold my baby. You got to hold my baby.
Well, I think they were trying to reinforce the fact that they were trying to
they were uncomfortable with babies.
Baby.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't get that.
Just like in the movie that you guys fucking loved.
That
Grosse
hammer that was
Point
hitting him in
Blank.
the head, that's what it was telling me when it kept saying, oh, they don't like babies.
You remember in Grosse Point Blank when
I'm being an asshole, I'm sorry.
When what's his name? When fucking the Coos grabs a baby and stares into his eyes and fucking he's holding that baby and we
Babies
liked
change
that.
everything, dude.
We fucking liked that, didn't we?
I didn't like that.
So sorry, we were talking about Vince Vaughn. Like the last thing he did
that baby was hella cute though. That's what I will admit. 100%.
The last thing
none of these babies in this movie were cute.
I recognize is Vince Vaughn was in a movie called Freaky. Did you see that one? It's like one of those body swap movies where he's a serial killer or whatever. That's the last thing he did. That was 2020 that I recognize. Now he's like in some TV show that I don't even know what it is, or
he's on a TV show.
It looked like some sort of TV thing.
No shit.
But yeah, he's not doing anything.
All right, we're kicking this fucking guy out of here. Let's move on. I gotta pee.
I'm Tawny Ray.
And I'm Felicia Connor.
And we are Two Chicks and a Horror Flick, a weekly horror movie review podcast.
We are two horror-addicted best buds sharing our unedited, comical, no bullshit opinions on the horror flicks we love and hate.
And you can always expect some interesting movie trivia. We cuss a bunch, spoil the shit out of some movies, and drink a little whiskey.
You can find us on every social media platform and listen to us on your favorite podcatcher by searching Two Chicks and a Horror Flick.
And remember, no nightmares.
Is it a one-night stand, or do you hit it with a shovel, or take it home to mom and dad? It's like fuck, marry, or kill. It's shag, snack, body bag.
Shagging, snagging, body bagging. Obviously, Brad's gonna fucking body bag the whole movie because he hates it because he's an asshole.
I have a shag.
No, I'm skipping you. I'm going to Scott. What are we shagging?
First thing, I'm going to shag the chemistry of Reese and Vince. I just love it. I love them together. I think they were awesome. The whole first part of the movie is great. I really had a lot of hopes at the very beginning there'd be more interaction between them. Then they kind of separate, and like when they were apart, the movie wasn't as good. I liked it when they were together. I loved them. I bought it. I just really liked their relationship, and I loved their interaction. I thought they're really good.
Let me agree with you. This is not my shag, but let me agree with you on that, because I kind of thought the same thing. It's like, oh, they work together.
Yeah.
There were some reviews that I looked at later that were basically saying they have no chemistry together. And then there was a couple that said that like there was a lot of reports of on set like they did not like each other.
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
And they're good actors because I bought it.
I bought it too.
I bought it too. I didn't think that it looked like that they didn't like each other, like they didn't work for each other. I thought Reese Witherspoon was game and like she could keep up.
I could totally see how any actress could not like working with a guy like that because he's probably ad-libbing the fuck out of everything. And like, how do you like?
He might cross the line here and there where you're just like, what the fuck? Why did he say that?
And the whole scene, like again, the whole the church scene at the very end when she's just like all like got the Mary outfit on and he's walking in the crowd, he's like high-fiving people, he's like got his hand on her head.
Yeah.
At one point, it's just like that. So now I'm thinking about, they didn't really like each other. I bet she was just sitting there going, he's just eating it up and soaking it up. He's dancing around, him flipping his hair around and like high-fiving and clapping to the music. Oh my God, it was great. I don't know. I did dig them together though.
What are we shagging, Brad?
All right, my shag is the balls it takes to make a Christmas movie that nobody would ever want to watch at Christmas again.
I knew it was
Crazy
gonna be
talk,
a
dude.
backhanded shag.
Because
Crazy talk.
It's called Four Christmases, but it's the most like the least Christmas movie. We just did Gremlins last week, and I think Gremlins is much more Christmassy than this movie is. It's just a contrived way to put them into the situations of having to meet with their four different families. I think they should have done a Thanksgiving.
That's
not enough
every
Thanksgiving
fucking movie. Every fucking movie on the planet is a contrived way to put them in the plot scenario that you want them to be.
This is true. They should have done 4 Thanksgivings. If this was a Thanksgiving movie, I think I'd like it more.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh.
4 Easters. How about that?
4 Easters.
If I'm shagging
At least
something,
in the church makes a lot more sense.
if I'm shagging something, it's the obvious. I gotta shag Vince Vaughn doing Vince Vaughn. He's just fucking so great. He's the greatest.
Vince Vaughn that there is.
He's the greatest. Like, I want to say rapper. He's like fucking Eminem. He's like prolifically awesome at just fucking talking.
His pace
And his
delivery.
cadence and delivery and all of it. It's exactly the same in every movie that he's in, even when he's trying to do a different part, like in True Detective 2. But God, dude, he's so good and so funny, and he could really say anything, dude. I mean, Swingers, like all these different roles, like he's just fucking kills it. He's got a ton of stuff with Favreau. Are they like buddies, or they used to be buddies?
Well, I mean, they are friends. They met on the set of Rudy, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think they're real life friends.
Because there's a bunch. Have you? Anyways, I'll get back to him.
I'm gonna piggyback because my snag is actually Vince Vaughn, and it's just Vince Vaughn doing Vince Vaughn things. Like it's always entertaining to me. Like some people might hate him. I love the sarcastic, the just the asides that he says.
Exactly.
Just so
the little
clever.
short little things he says after somebody else says something.
Yeah, and it's like I just it wasn't enough to save this movie for me, but I do appreciate the fact that Vince Vaughn can just turn it on and just be himself and just say the silliest things. Like Dodgeball. Dodgeball is a shit movie, but the amount of characters they have there, the absurdity, it's on point with me. Like it's just he carries that and he does it himself for the most part, but he's just got all sorts of just funny one-liners. But he's got a Ben Stiller there. He's got a couple people like to play off of.
Dodgeball is a much better movie than this one.
I was just about to say this movie is funnier than Dodgeball, so that's funny that you say that.
Dodgeball is way funnier than this.
Dodgeball is such a dog shit, like fucking, let's think of another funny thing to fucking, like it's so contrived and bullshit.
But it's absurd. Like that's, it's not trying to be real, where I feel like this movie kind of feels like it's like, oh, these are kind of like real families. It's not, no, Dodgeball knows it's not like real life. This movie thinks it's like real life and it's not. And that's what pisses me off.
I think you think this movie takes itself more seriously than this movie does. I think you think that this movie's like, these are real people and they really do MMA and they really do fucking moonsaults off the fucking podium onto the fucking
You mean off like it was like the bookcase?
Yeah, exactly. So silly.
Oh my God.
What are we snagging, Scott?
Okay, I'm going to snag, hey, they got the swing band back together. Swingers. They got Vince, they got Favreau, and they got Sue.
They did have Sue.
Yeah.
I mentioned that and my wife was like, what? I was like, that's fucking Sue.
That's Sue. The guy who played Sue in Swingers was the boyfriend of
his former
mom.
best friend.
His former best friend.
We haven't even talked about that yet.
Yeah.
That shit is hilarious.
That was a great
Came
scene.
out of left field, but I mean,
Hey, buddy,
no one saw that coming.
Hey, let me pay for your gas, man.
Yeah. It's like, I make more money than you.
I will say I loved when Sue came back, and the fact that it was Sue,
Yeah.
that made it even better.
Yeah.
That scene's funny.
Yeah, dude. So it was just cool because like I really haven't seen that guy in hardly anything, and I like seeing.
Except, sorry,
What?
I have to stop just because he goes. They didn't. Here's the difference between a good comedy movie and a bad comedy
I
movie.
love how Brad just has to piss on everything.
There's some movies where they push it to 11 on the comedy. This movie is like, what if we went to fucking like 12 or 13? Because as soon as Sue starts talking about like, oh, and she's really good in bets, no fucking best friend is gonna do that. And it's not even funny. It's like, that's fucking stupid, because if that's really my best friend, he says, oh, I'm gonna punch you in the mouth. It's like, no, you would already have punched him in the mouth.
Is your best friend okay? So that's the part you have a problem with, not the part where he's fucking his mom, who's 30 years older than him, not the part where
it's
he's like
absurd at
I
first.
never
It's
even-
absurd, and like their conversations at first were like funny, but then when he starts taking it to like level 12, 13, 14, where it's like, let's just keep running with this joke that's already played out. Like,
I see what you're saying, and then they bring it into the taboo game where he's like, okay, and she's like,
The thing I
okay,
did to you the other night.
You poured this on me. He's like, wax. No, the other thing you poured on me, chocolate syrup.
that's what I'm saying.
It's like when he's like, it's really sticky. I wouldn't recommend it.
It was yeah. It
my
was syrup.
my comedy tastes are very fine in the fact that if you go to the right amount of absurd and silly, I like it. But if you go beyond like my limits, I fucking
Every movie that
Go
you
crazy.
love goes beyond any limit that I can possibly
that's
think
the
of.
thing. Sometimes you can go beyond where it's absurd, and then it's like beyond. It's annoying, but then you
Beyond,
keep going,
beyond.
and then it becomes like even crazier, which is like a whole different level.
Look,
That's
Zach,
like the Borat and shit.
Look, Zach, if you knew anything about comedy, you would know that when a guy is in a vat of beer and he drinks all of it,
Oh yeah,
it's real.
And then he has to piss out a fire. Like he has to put out a fire by pissing all over it.
Right.
I was thinking about much better movies than that, but yes.
But the fact that he's like the Kool-Aid Man times 7 is absurd. That's not real.
You don't think that's beyond absurd?
It is. It is way absurd, because that's like, obviously this is way beyond what's reality. When your movie's still kind of like trying to like edge on, like, oh, we're edging reality. When it's just like, going around the rim a little bit. Like it's just like it's trying to stick there. It's like, I'm still reality.
You're doing what the movie did right now.
Shout out to our strange brew pod, which is why I brought this up. Anyway,
100%.
When you're just edging around the rim. That's funny.
so I snagged. Who's next?
What did you snag? I don't even remember.
I snagged the band.
I'm just so
the
mad
Swingers,
at Brad. I
Swingers
can't remember
band.
it.
Swingers band.
Oh, okay.
Not a swing band.
All right.
The swingers.
What are you gonna snag there, Zach?
I am going to snag the fucking kid that is just so absolutely ridiculous. I love kid that is Gideon from Gemstones, Righteous Gemstones. You guys haven't watched Righteous Gemstones.
I've watched Righteous Gemstones. I know Gideon is.
So he's the main kid that gets naked and runs out of the
Oh, that goes
and runs
streaking.
out of the house.
I didn't realize that.
And you're saying you don't like the kids in this. I think the kids are great. I think
The streaking part was funny to me.
the Gideon kid's funny, but the best part of the movie is the girl that steals the fucking marker or the pregnancy test. She is a fucking great actress. I hate her so much.
Yeah.
And the fact that I hate her so much just tells me, okay, this little girl is a great actress. There is something about her that I was like, Reese Witherspoon, beat the fuck out of this little kid. Like, what are we doing here?
No. It's not just that little kid. Obviously, she tosses multiple kids. My daughter's exact words as they're watching that scene. She goes, wouldn't one of those kids at least be a good kid? Like, wouldn't one of those kids like realize like there's an
Dude.
adult that's like saying like, hey, this is important to me, and like instead you've got all these little anarchists in there that are just like, we're in fucking random jump house on Christmas Day, like just going buck wild, and there's not a single parent around.
Who gets a jump on Christmas?
And
That's fucking
well,
weird.
I understand for maybe your kids that are there at the house, but
there's like the whole neighborhood.
yeah, we're all their parents. Like, I don't know. Everyone's got different Christmas traditions.
But no, the kid Gideon, when he's fucking beating the shit out of Vince Vaughn and talking a bunch of shit to him, running out of the house, fucking talking about he gets a flashlight for Christmas and he's super pissed about it. He's pissed about finding out about Santa, and then the little girl that steals the pregnancy test and goes into the jump. I fucking hate all of them, and I hate them because they're good, and the movie makes me hate them, which I like.
See, what would have saved that scene for me is that when she says, "Oh, I peed on that stick," and she like drops it out. If all the other little bratty, shitty ass kids would have like pointed at me like
making fun of her, yeah.
Oh, you drank pee,
or called her like cootie something or whatever.
I was waiting for that. Like I thought that would have made sense a little bit more instead of just like she's like, oh, drops the pen and she bounces out.
Dude, what about when they're showing Vince Vaughn the pictures and they're like showing her all the pictures of the girl Jo? Fucking, that shit is so funny.
Like, she wasn't a lesbian.
Like, yeah, she used to just play suntan and rub sunscreen all over. Oh my god, that shit is funny. Body bag. What are we body bagging? Brad?
She's an intelligent business lady or whatever she does in San Francisco. She never would have thought back on that and been like,
I don't think we ever know what Reese Witherspoon does.
No, she's
not
not
think it
important enough.
shows.
It's a Vince Vaughn
Yeah.
show. But the fact that she would have never realized that her friend might have been lesbian. Like,
Is that your body bag?
No, that's not my body bag. I'm just kind of,
One of many body bags.
No, my body bag is, I think I wrote this first and I've basically been saying this the entire pod. Corny movies with ridiculously contrived fake scenes. The church scene, the MMA fight, like not the first MMA fight. I can understand like, oh, you're gonna throw your brother into a move, like he doesn't train or anything.
Fucking around with him.
The second time when it's just like they're just kicking the shit out of his legs and like the little kids are like kicking him. I'm like, dude, if my brother's kids started kicking me like as hard as they can, and like I would lose my shit. Like it would be problems. Like it would be like, no, your fucking kids don't treat me like that.
Yeah, but that's the point. That's why they can do it to Vince Vaughn, to Orlando, because they know that Orlando ain't gonna do shit.
And then the ending, the contrived part is just, I mean, legitimately, they had no clue how to end this movie. They're like, all right, we're gonna make them go apart for like 5 seconds, and then they're gonna come back together, and everything's gonna be great.
It was pretty quick.
There's no like anything except for him going to talk to his dad.
Right.
She gets a weird conversation from John Voight, who's obviously the dad of Angelina Jolie, who should probably be giving parenting advice. And so she gets a little semi pep talk from him, I guess. And all of a sudden they're like, fuck yeah, we're back together. Let's have a kid.
Yeah. That kind of ties into my body bag a little bit. My body bag is Robert Duvall, who is one of my all-time favorite actors of all time. And he just phoned it in on this one. I wanted more of him, and I just didn't like his character and what he did. And what I wanted was kind of like a redemption at the end. So like when Vince Vaughn went and talked to him and kind of, I wanted like there to be a thing where, yeah, he's a dick the whole time. He's like supporting the other, his brothers from taking the crap out of him. But then at the very end, like Vince Vaughn saying, yeah, she said that, she wanted to be married or whatever, blah, blah, blah. He's like, look, son, don't be like me.
Yeah, get the fuck away from this.
Yeah. You're better than that or what. I wanted some sort of little redemption.
You wanted Duvall to have to be the catalyst in a different way for his redemption.
To make him realize that he shouldn't become like them.
He did that, but he didn't do it in the way that you wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was my issue with it. And so and again, Robert Duvall, I was like, oh man, I'm so stoked he's in this movie. And he just kind of sat there and just kind of said a couple comments here and there. And it's like, okay, this dude got a paycheck. And oh man.
After the first like 3 or 4 lines, I was so depressed. I was like, oh my God, this is such a fucking waste of Duvall.
Totally.
And then there was a few things he did a little bit later. He got to like at least kind of act a little bit better.
Yeah.
And
when he says on the roof, I don't want to speak ill about your mother, but she is a common street whore or something like that. That shit was so funny.
He does some decent deliveries a little bit later. Like at first I was like, this is just a shitty waste of Duvall. He kind of redeemed himself a little bit, but like, you're right. That last speech, I was just like, What the fuck how does that change Vince Vaughn's mind whatsoever?
Because he realized he doesn't want to be like his dad. He doesn't want to fucking push her away because he's being shitty like his dad does.
Yeah.
He still gets the redemption arc for Vince Vaughn's character. Scott wants it for both of them though.
Right.
Which I get.
Yeah, Duvall should have realized, you know what? This is kind of shitty. This isn't the right life for you. Get the fuck away.
Right.
So, man, if I'm body bagging anything from this movie, it is
My takes.
for sure going to be my co-host. No. If I'm gonna body bag something from this movie, it's the fact that we're supposed to believe that planes stop coming into SFO when it's foggy. Is that really what we're thinking here?
No, there's never been a foggy day in San
There would
Francisco.
never be a fucking airplane coming in and out of SFO ever if a little bit of fog stopped airplanes from coming in and out of that airport.
Well,
It's
not to mention
fucking ridiculous.
and not to mention that, like, essentially because airports are so flat, like, I mean, they don't get like a whole lot of like heavy fog and stuff. It's like they have instruments. They can land in the dark.
They on purpose don't put the airport in the spot where there's a shit ton of fog.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any goddamn
Well,
sense.
my biggest thing about that also was like, okay, they just canceled everything. They wouldn't say delayed.
Nope. And they're like,
fog is, they know the fog's gonna be there for like 3 days or
how
something.
funny is the scene when they're at the airport and the guy's like, well, I can put you up at the Radisson. He's like, oh, can you put us up at the fucking Radisson? That sounds so good.
I know,
That shit
but
is so funny.
That's where I'm like, why am I rooting for this douchey motherfucker? Like, don't be an asshole to the people that like have no control of the weather and are just trying to like make your life a little bit better.
He's a
don't be
shitty
addicted to those
character.
people.
He hasn't gone through his redemption arc yet, dude. Come on.
You guys did notice who the ticket agent was, though, right?
Peter Billingsley.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess they're all kind of friends. Like, I mean, he was an elf, and obviously
right.
Favreau directed that, and so like they're all kind of buddies. Favreau, Billingsley, and Vince Vaughn they've all been kind of homies.
Watched Elf 2 nights ago too. It's still fucking great.
Did any of you guys watch Christmas Story 2 yet? Or,
No,
Not yet.
Christmas Story or whatever it is.
Not
Buddy at work said it was good though. And
You
then
mentioned on the pod, you said he was like, oh, it was okay.
everyone on the internet says it's dog shit.
No, it's got the right amount of heart for what it is. It's not a terrible like money grab. It's actually enjoyable. Like, I enjoyed it. My Melissa didn't like it as much as I did, but I was like, you know what? There's some moments in it where it's like it's got the right heart.
Okay.
And I think Peter Billingsley kind of like was the helm of that to make sure that it's like, you know what? It's got to have that right
Ralphie?
feeling.
Yeah.
Ralphie, yeah.
So Ralphie, oh wait, so now I'm confused.
Ralphie is who we've been talking about
So
this whole time.
But I don't know who Peter Billingsley is.
That's Ralphie.
But that's Ralphie from A Christmas Story.
Yes.
Right.
Oh shit, I love that.
Yeah, I thought he was with us this whole time.
No, you guys were like, you know who the ticket agent was, and I was like, oh yeah, it was.
You put Ralphie in your pants and he like pleasures you? Is that what happens?
Jesus, that's inappropriate, dude. Somebody that didn't listen to last week's pod has no idea what you're talking about.
That was a weird comment, but
Jesus.
it was also the appropriate comment.
All right, moving on.
Let's move.
Crackle, Pluto, HBO, find anime on Crunchyroll, Peacock, Hulu, Disney, Netflix, Tubi, Sling TV, Shudder, Fubo. What the fuck is Fubo? I'm sure it'll cause a sensation. It's a streaming recommendation.
All right, I'll jump in.
Fuck, I forgot I was the host. I was like, who's gonna talk?
You're still thinking about Peter Billingsley versus Ralphie. You're like, oh shit.
All right. Well, I've got a streaming recommendation that I know none of you motherfuckers are going to pick because Brad's going to be like, this story is all contrived. So probably my favorite Vince Vaughn movie. Oh, it's tough. I don't know if I like this more than Wedding Crashers or not, but Jennifer Aniston, Vince Vaughn, The Breakup. Have you guys seen The Breakup?
I have not.
Also Jon Favreau in it. Fuck, dude. It's Vince Vaughn doing Vince Vaughn the entire movie. It's so funny. I love Jennifer Aniston. She's really funny, really cute, and really just a great, like, she's a better foil to Vaughn than Reese Witherspoon, for sure. I think she kind of spars with him better, like verbally. And man, it's really good. I believe it is on HBO Max. So go check that one out. It's great.
And if you don't know, use Just Watch.
Yeah,
the
Just
app
Watch
or
should be a sponsor of our
justwatch.com.
podcast for sure.
That will help you find where it's streaming, where it's available. Speaking of Jennifer Aniston, I meant to think about this when we were talking about the director, Seth Gordon. He did Horrible Bosses. I'm a little bit worried now because I'm like, I've heard good things about Horrible Bosses.
It's good.
Am I going to enjoy it?
It's better than this. I mean, it's better than Four Christmases.
Is it better than Four Christmases?
I actually haven't seen the whole movie. I've seen a lot of it, and it's funny. I like Charlie Day. He's great, and
He's great.
So he's the one that's Jennifer Aniston is his boss,
Right.
Well, because he's in the dentist office, right?
She's sexually harassing him.
Yeah, and
Okay.
she's super good looking in that.
And for some reason, he's not into
But
it.
there's a lot of like big names in it. Like there's a lot of cameos and things like that.
I can't really speak intelligently.
Yeah.
You should watch it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to check it out.
All right.
My streaming recommendation is it's a Seth Gordon movie, and it is The King of Kong, Fistful of Quarters.
Oh yeah.
Weeby versus Mitchell. If you know nothing about this movie, there's two documentaries I would recommend to people that if you've never seen them, it's worth watching. It's this one. It's only available for rent. It's about, and I'll tell you the plot, and you'll be like, why would I watch this? You will be surprised at how much you enjoy it. It's the two gentlemen competing for the high score on Donkey Kong.
Yes.
It's called The King of Kong. They're trying to set the absolute world record on Donkey Kong. You have a guy who's a video game freak that plays all the games. He's like the nerd's nerd. They all love him. And then you've got this guy, Steve Wiebe, who's just kind of like just a regular old dude who happens to really love Donkey Kong. He buys the machine, puts it in his garage, and plays it. I mean, he kind of like basically like neglects his kids and stuff to like play Donkey Kong.
And if you're like me and that sounds like a dog shit movie, don't listen to yourself. Actually watch it because it's pretty fucking good. I really enjoy it.
It is strangely like you'll just be like, why am I rooting for this
Yes.
guy?
Yeah.
And why do I hate so much this other dude?
They somehow turn this other
it's
guy
a
into a
narrative.
villain.
Yeah, exactly.
In a documentary,
And
It's
he's
so
legit
good.
a villain in real life, which is crazy because like he's been like kicked out of records. They found out that he cheated and stuff, so like he's had records removed.
So
like,
I was going to bring that up. I think that his like Donkey Kong thing has been revoked, right?
somebody's score got revoked recently.
Yeah.
I saw Billy Webster's name
Wow.
was in, or Billy Mitchell's name was in the news not too long ago about some shit that he like was an asshole about. The other documentary would be Jiro Dreams of Sushi.
Jiro Dreams of Sushi is so good.
And it's just, you've never watched somebody who is more dedicated to their work.
Mm-hmm.
And it just shows.
Is it a cartoon?
No, it's just,
It's not animated?
Jiro Dreams of Sushi is just
I've never seen that.
guy who has a high-end 3 Michelin star sushi restaurant in Japan. And it just basically follows his life as he has his sons that work for him, and all his staff is handpicked. They only serve like 24 people per night.
Yeah, it's great. And
I
then
love sushi so much.
If you've never seen Jiro Dreams of Sushi,
you have to watch this.
Really?
shit. Dude,
It's
it's so incredible because you think
documentary.
what I thought going into it, I was like, oh, sushi. He must be some crazy, like doing all these crazy rolls with all these fucking octopuses and shit. It's like literally just rice with fish on top, and they go into the whole choosing the fish. He's got a guy that goes down and like. They don't taste the fish. He like fucking shines a flashlight through it and can tell if it's good or not.
Really?
Like it's the rice that he uses is like fucking only from one particular guy. It's like,
Yeah, it's
I don't
just
want to give
watching
too much
some-
away because that
yeah.
shit's fucking it's really fascinating. And you think a sushi documentary, how good can it be? It's super, super fascinating.
and it's subtitled. It's all in Japanese,
Yeah.
so you read the subtitles, but it's
Now, is this
amazing.
one of those deals where a fucking weird guy like me wants to go in and put soy sauce all over his sushi? And would they be like, no, you can't do
They
That
would
would not
kick you
work.
out.
Yeah. So just making sure.
Like
You would insult like ages upon ages of tradition.
You've insulted my ancestors.
Jiro's literally standing there in front of you. He takes the fish, he puts it right in
He
front
watches
of you.
you eat it.
He watches you. He puts it, he can tell if you're right-handed or left-handed and puts it on that side so because he knows you're going to grab it. That's the fucking detail that they're looking at you. They make bigger portions for bigger guys and smaller portions for women because they don't eat as much. It's insane.
and as soon as you like have eaten it and kind of nod and stuff, that next one is just
Ready.
boom.
And then he's sitting there just looking at you just like, yeah, you're going to enjoy this.
And you're like,
motherfucker.
on some fucking Kikkoman.
You got any ketchup?
And if you're lucky, he might take. Well, and I just the last time I checked, I was watching it not too long ago. He's still alive. He just doesn't go to the restaurant very much anymore. But the worst thing about it is just, and this is kind of a spoiler, is just that he has a son who's like now in his like 60s and 70s. Is like he can't take over the restaurant until his dad passes away. So he's just like, fuck, I'm just stuck here as his like his next in line.
He's like ready to retire, and he hasn't even like had the restaurant yet.
Yeah,
He's in his 70s.
he's like the sous chef.
It's so great. Oh man,
Check it out though. So yeah, the documentary though, King of Kong, Fistful of Quarters. It is available for rent, and I know Jiro streams Dreams of Sushi it's on Netflix or Amazon.
I believe it's on Netflix.
Yeah,
So
check it out.
I've mentioned it earlier. The original Vince Vaughn, where I met Vince Vaughn and fell in love with Vince Vaughn, Swingers, and
Perfect.
if you like that rapid fire, amazing delivery of Vince Vaughn, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. You got Favreau, one of his early movies, and
You got Sue.
Sue.
So do you think 100% like that's how Vince Vaughn is in real life? Like he's just like that all the time.
There's got to be a lot of it to it because he does it all
He's
the time.
so good at it.
So good at it.
And he does it in every role that you have to think that that's just how he is, right?
Stories have said that like as a person, he says he has difficult dealing with like emotions, and so that's why he's just constantly like talking rapid fire, like just says wild shit and
That's
stuff.
kind of his
just
coping
because
mechanism.
It's 100% his coping mechanism in movies and in real life, and so it's like,
Interesting.
So, anyway, Swingers is on HBO Max.
there you go.
Moving on, B-Rad.
Let's do it.
Be rad.
Ooh, you got to call him B-Rad
No
before
jet
the
watch
rap.
from Maverick, Mexico on that goose stick. Iceberg list Titanic, Leo's drawing that nude shit. Jim fucks Nadia like we all thought he should. Ricky and Doughboy get the fuck out the hood. Luke hooks up with Leia just like he's intending. It's time for a reshelf and alternate endings.
Ooh, them 808s, that bass.
Damn, how are we gonna reshelf alternate end this movie, Brad? I see that you've got some notes there. What are we?
I do.
What are we doing here?
I've got a reshelf. This is gonna be. It's basically the same movie. It's Four Christmases, but rather than Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon, we're gonna bring in Juliette Lewis and Woody Harrelson. Because we're gonna do Four Christmases with Mickey and Mallory
With the
from
Natural Born Killers.
And for whatever reason, they have to go to all four Christmases, but at each one, they end up just murdering everyone and occasionally taking the time to fuck in the pools of blood spilled during their violent rampages. So that's where I decided to go. I was just it's what I was feeling. I just kind of went with it.
As much as I hate you, Brad, I'm renting that for $5.99. I will fucking click on that shit all day. I'll be like, kids, go to bed.
So, kind of going off of that, we didn't do it on the Gremlins pod, but the good old Till Dawn. So, Four Christmases Till Dawn, what I want to see mostly is that Reese Witherspoon is a vampire, and when she seals up that jump house and she turns around,
Bloodbath ensues.
it's a fucking bloodbath. It's just like the Titty Twister.
Oh no!
Because those kids were so annoying, and they're just teasing her and hating, and I just wanted to see her just kill a bunch of kids.
That's what I was saying about the little girl. You make
Yeah.
they make you hurt. You
They
hate her.
Yeah, exactly.
You fucking hate her
They're
so
playing,
much.
like keep away with the thing and everything.
She's like
that.
8, and you're like,
Yeah.
punch that bitch in the face.
Yeah.
So if one of the neighbor parents happened to be like, because it looked like she closed the front, but there was still some windows in the back. Like, what if one of the neighbor parents walks up during that, like, and she's just like chucking your kid? Can she just like play it off like, oh, we're just playing? Or do you think the kids are like telling her, like, no, this bitch is crazy? Like,
Yeah.
I think there's a thing that happens when kids are real dicks, like those kids were being, and when they get their comeuppance, they don't fucking they realize they're like.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I fucked up there.
It's like the
That
bully gets bullied. The bully gets bullied. He's gonna shut the fuck up.
exactly.
Yeah,
They're
I
like,
deserve it.
I'm not gonna tell anybody I fucked up there.
you
That
should
was
see what
bad.
happens to Scott Farkas in the new
Hey,
Christmas story.
spoilers alert! But dude, what? Come on, dude.
I just said, see what happened to Scott Farkas.
Scut.
Scut.
That should be Scott's new nickname. Scut.
When we're angry with Scott. Fucking Scott. Scott.
Scutback.
All right, next category.
Are we on the next category?
I don't have an alternate ending.
Well, shit, let's move
Fuck
forward.
me.
It's the perfect movie.
What the fuck? There is no other category.
There's no more?
You convinced me that
Did you
there
just put it
was.
on?
Hey,
Sorry, guys.
that was a little sample for you. Since you all been like, I know you guys are like angry. There's no draft. We apologize. We have jingle bells.
So, last week we had a quick little Thanksgiving food speed draft, and
Oh, yeah. What do you got?
so we don't have a draft next week either. Obviously, this isn't a draft because we did
Actually,
another movie.
it's probably for the next another 2 weeks because I think another 2 weeks we're not gonna have any drafts.
That's right, because we hopefully we might put together a little something special for everybody, but we'll see what happens.
A little Christmas present that we might have wrapped.
But I'd like to do a quick little speed draft.
What do you got?
What I want to do,
You get first pick.
first pick.
You do. I get second because I called it.
All right, I'm judging again. I'm third pick and I'm judged.
It's kind of a personal thing. I want to know the best Christmas present you ever got.
Scott, are you serious? Because I literally had that written down as when I wanted to do too many drafts. I was like, I want to do Thanksgiving food and best Christmas present as a kid.
Dude, yeah, I love it.
That's so fucking funny. I know my answer too. Brad, you can go first.
No, I'm not first. Scott's first because I got to think about this.
It's not really a draft. It's just kind of saying what we want, but I love it.
So
Real drunks are gonna be pissed. We're kind of stealing their shit.
my best, really? You guys do this a little?
They do categories at the end. That was just no. We didn't do this particular
Yeah.
category.
So my best Christmas gift ever. God dang it. I don't know exactly what year it was, but what's cool is I actually live in the house now that I lived in back then. So
Oh, tight.
yeah, we lived here from 77 to 82, I think. So a lot of my childhood memories are in this
All
place.
before I was born.
Right.
Nice.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that. Anyway, and we haven't had any fucking I look like Santa Claus jokes yet in this one.
Nope.
Yeah.
We're going away from that.
Thanks. Appreciate it. So, but I remember a Christmas morning, and it's great because I can look over there and I can still picture it. I walked into that living room, see what Santa brought me. An Atari 2600
Oh, shit.
was sitting right there.
Pong?
And so we busted that shit out. I don't really know if I knew what it was before that. I think because my brother was older, and he's a lot older than me, actually. I'll just go ahead and mention that right now. And
He's
I think
old as
he
shit.
knew. He's
Yeah.
old as fuck. And
Grandpa Tim.
but we pulled that out and we started playing combat, little tanks and all that shit, and Pong, and then Space Invaders. And I have this amazing memory about Space Invaders because my brother was there with a couple of buddies, and I had the joystick and I'm playing Space Invaders, and I was good from the beginning. And I remember like Space Invaders, it starts, it's a big old block of aliens and they're going down the screen, you're shooting them, whatever. And the less there are, the faster they get, right? So here I am just going level after level after level. I won't die. And they're sitting there by me pissed off because
they want to turn.
They want to turn. And every time they were like yelling with the sound of the Space Invaders, like just yelling in my ears, trying to make me screw up. And I just kept winning and winning over and over again. I remember being all happy because they didn't get to play.
They didn't go the next asshole level, which would have just been like, oh shit, your controller came unplugged.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, that was my best Christmas present ever, was the Atari 2600, which turned me into a nerd at a very early age.
There you go.
So when I was a kid, my parents were very anti-video game, and on the last pod, it's funny that you did Atari because when I was a kid, I wanted a Nintendo more than anything, but my parents were like, we're never going to buy you a Nintendo. That's why I thought I got a Nintendo and I was over the moon, but they were serious. They did not ever get me a Nintendo. But what they did get me, and I still remember it, we still lived in Turlock, so I was probably in second grade. And I remember I opened it up and it was a Game Boy, like an OG Game Boy. And I had Tetris and Super Mario Brothers. And I just remember thinking, all my dreams have come true. I've got this fucking
Nintendo in your hands.
1 inch by 1 inch Nintendo screen that's like a weird greenish brown color. Fucking, I was so goddamn happy. And every time my kids are unhappy about anything now, I just want to be like, you have everything that I would have ever wanted when I was a kid, and you're still unhappy, you ungrateful fucks. But that was my greatest present ever.
All right, Brad.
All right, my greatest present was we always, Christmas was always at my grandma and grandpa's house, and it was my brother and I, and then my 2 cousins, all boys. So it was always rowdy shit. Like we were always, I mean, legit. Like there was MMA fights. Actually, it was more WWE fights and stuff going on in our house.
Oh, so kind of like 4 Christmases. That's weird. Okay,
Yeah.
All right, continue.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, a lot more realistic. Anyway. So we had a Christmas where
You and fucking Kyle and Wade and Andrew and everybody. Oh my god,
So-
I bet it was a
so
shit show.
I'm gonna say Wade was the youngest, so he was probably about, I'm gonna say 4 or 5. So that means, and you go up 3 years from him, so it was like 7 for Kyle. I'm probably 11, and my brother's probably 15. And there was 3 boxes out on the floor. And my grandpa was like, all right, you guys, oldest gets to choose first. And my brother goes out there and he chooses one. And it's kind of like assumed that my little cousin Wade, he's not old enough for whatever this gift
Is this at Homer's?
Is that, yeah, this is
Okay.
at Homer's. So my little cousin's not old enough for whatever this is. So we're like, oh, fuck, this is for the older kids. Hell yeah. So I get I'm the second choice. I'm the second oldest. So I get to go out there and I pick one and I grab it and I start walking away with it. And my grandpa, who just... Robert Duvall always kind of semi reminds me of Grandpa. Can just be kind of a
totally
mean
see
old
that.
bastard every once in a while. And he goes, oh, Kyle got the worst one. They're all wrapped. You can't tell. So my cousin Kyle picks it up and he's all frustrated. He looks at me. He runs over like he's going to hit me with his present. And like, he's like throws himself down on the couch. He's like, he's crying. He's just like pouting. And the best thing is like my little cousin Wade, who's probably like 4 at the time. He's like, I like it. I like it. He runs over. He's like going to take the present. Like he wants it. Well, we open them up. They were all the exact same thing. There was no difference.
So
between
Grandpa's just fucking with him.
Grandpa's just being an asshole. And they were all like remote control cars, but not like the Tyco, like 2 sticks, like cheapo. These were like the nice, like you have like the big fucking like
With the
pistol
wheel on the
grip
side.
with the wheel.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
And like nice ass remote control cars.
Like a rechargeable battery.
With
in.
the nice little like the batteries that you would plug in to recharge and stuff.
Yeah.
It was legit. And for like the next like year, we were out there like racing our RC cars, and like all the other kids would have like their little RC cars. They'd be like, look at my shit. I'd be out there just dusting them,
Love it.
jumping off shit and stuff. It's got shocks.
That's because
and everything.
your uncle and grandpa were race car guys, and they were like, we
were
gotta have
race
the
fans.
badass fucking race cars.
So we got the cool little remote control cars, and I remember there was a spot I think out in Hillmar or at the Hillmarish area. It was called the Little Roundhouse, I think is what it was called, and it was
The Square Roundhouse.
Square Roundhouse. It was a little go-kart. I mean, a little RC car track.
Yep.
And we would go out there sometimes and race them and stuff. So it was some Square Roundhouse. You're right.
Yep.
That's exactly what it's called.
It's on Lander right before you get to the freeway.
Yep.
Heading out. Yeah.
And I remember I was marshalling for a race one time, and a car hit me
Jesus
straight in the
Christ.
shin.
You were marshalling for a race.
Which you just out there, and if they flip over off the jumps, you just go turn the car over real quick, and you get out
Like,
the
we need
track.
a marshal. Anybody? Brad's like,
I'm like 12 years old. I'm out there, and I go to flip a car over, and another car came off a jump and hit me straight in the shin, and it hurt for fucking like a week and a half. It was
my God.
so much pain in my shin from this car just launching itself into my shin as I'm just trying to help
how
somebody
did
else.
you fucking keep the chicks away from you? You were like, what did you do? You're like, I was marshaling the fucking RC race at the Square Roundhouse, and they were just like fucking, oh my God, I
got
just
so
fucking
sweaty. They're just like,
they
I'm
just
sorry.
got so wet. Their fucking pocket, their pocket thing just freaking multiplied.
Gizmo just doing extra work down there.
God damn.
Oh man.
Hey, Merry Christmas, motherfuckers. I hope everybody has a great holiday. BVK loves you. We'll see you guys on the flip side. Bye-bye.
I wanna be at that I love this scene. Nick Natek and Brad, your favorite podcast. Let's start